How you doing? This is Official Sahar TV, and today the video we're going to watch is going to shock a lot of you. Some of you are not going to be so baffled about this, but the people at the protests, at the pro-Palestine protests around the United States are the most uneducated people about the conflict that you'll ever find. And the video that we're about to watch will prove exactly that. Please don't skip and watch all the way until the end in order to prove to you that the people that are there have no clue why they're there. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to expand this community, and let's get to the video.
So I just noticed the signs that you got from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What does that mean?
Well, it's quite self-explanatory. It needs to be.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, isn't it? Because I guess what I mean is, how would that come about? What would happen to the Israelis, etc.?
I don't.
I'm trying to think of how to word it. Isn't it just as self-explanatory as the area of land? It's Palestine's land.
Yeah. So when you say Palestine, which bit do you mean?
Yeah, the Gaza Strip.
So the Gaza Strip?
The West Bank.
West Bank?
Yeah.
That's it?
I don't know. Is there another
I thought it was self-explanatory. I'm getting confused now. I thought it was self-explanatory. What about either of you?
Bullshit question.
It's a bullshit question. Why? Well, tell me, why is it bullshit?
I'm not fucking getting involved in this, but it's so like inflammatory. Right? No, it's just really inflammatory.
Asking what that sign means.
Yeah.
It's inflammatory. Why is that?
I'm not getting involved.
He's not getting involved because he has no idea what the answer is. No idea.
Okay. All right. I didn't say anything. I was just asking what it meant.
Oh.
Do you agree with the sign?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, of course.
And what does it mean to you?
Palestinians to be free, you know?
Well, it says Palestine, so I was asking them which bit of the area.
Yeah, the people that are being oppressed, for them to be free, you know?
Yeah.
Gaza, West Bank, them people to be free, yeah.
Gaza and West Bank.
Yeah, all Palestinians in general, you know, because we know that what's going on. All of them are being oppressed, so for them to be free, you know, it's nothing, you know, it's clear as day, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was just asking them which bit of the land they mean, because some people mean all of the land, including the bit where Israel is now. And that's why there's some debate about, you know, what that means.
I think the main message is Palestinians that are being oppressed, for them to be free, you know, and for everyone to live in harmony, regardless of your religion or whatever it is. Because historically speaking, we say Muslims, Jews, Christians have been living there for centuries, you know, living in good peace. But when early in recent times, all of this issue has been going on, you know.
That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Only in recent times we've had these conflicts. Nuh-uh. You can go way before 1948 to find many conflicts from Muslims attacking Jews. I can give you a few examples, like the 1929 Hebron massacre. We have the 1920s. We had attacks from Arabs towards Jews, destroying Jewish villages. Of course, we had the 1834 Safed looting, which was way before the Zionist nationalist movement, before it came to be. We had the Fez massacre, 1033. About 6,000 Jews were unalived by Muslims, only for them being Jews. There's a bunch of other scenarios in history. So this did not start 75 years ago. This started in the 7th century between Muslims and Jews. Let's continue.
But I think it's
how long would you say this issue's been going on?
As far as I know, obviously I'm not as educated on this topic, for example, with other people, but for roughly around 75 years.
Since the 7th century.
I think the mandate from 45, just before, after World War, I think is when the issues, you know, when the British came and started cutting up lands and taking the lands of the Palestinians, I think that's when the issue started, you know.
You can clearly tell this guy's not educated about anything. He already has made a few mistakes, such as saying in the 30s or 40s, the British mandate was there since 1917. They took it from the Ottoman Turks. So he's, first of all, he's uneducated, and it's as clear as day. So why would you take anything else that he says as a valuable source? Because I don't think it's a valuable source, and you shouldn't think so as well.
Well, yeah, before that you had the Ottoman Empire there, which had very strong control over the area. Yeah, that makes sense.
Any attack on civilians is not justified, you know, regardless of whatever happened, you know. But I think the issue really what is the origin of this problem?
Islam.
You know, history has not started October 7.
No. It started in the 7th century by Muhammad.
You know, we have to see the real origin of this
Is Islam.
was, as I said, 75 years ago.
Islam.
Obviously, I'm not as educated on this topic, but because what I see now is this whole issue is being portrayed as if civilization and history started from October 7th and onwards. But
Islam.
that's not the real, that's the only aspect. The whole issue is obviously, as we said, from 70, 80 years ago, and I think that contributes to what is going on today from both sides, from the Palestinian side as well as the Israeli side.
All right.
Why do you completely ignore all the attacks that took place way before 75 years ago? Why do people ignore these attacks? Maybe because they're not aware that the army of the people of Muhammad committed these attacks against non-Muslims. And that's very bad. It's sad.
So we are now heading off from Bank towards Parliament, which is where the protest is supposed to be. And it's kind of loose at the moment. There is a lot of people here, but it's not jam-packed as we've seen at some other protests. We've had a few conversations with people, obviously. Very interesting takeaways. I mean, when you talk to people about what, let's say, from the river to the sea means, a lot of them don't really, we had one group that said it was self-explanatory, and when I asked them to explain it, it didn't really happen. Build a new Workers' Party, a socialist alternative to Sunak and Starmer for a socialist intifada.
Yeah.
What's a socialist intifada?
If I'm being honest with you, I just got this at the stand over there.
What? What the hell is this? Why are you at the protest if you have no idea what the protest is about? Why are you holding a sign not knowing what the sign means? I can guarantee you that this guy probably doesn't even know what Intifada means, and he's just casually holding a sign calling for the eradication of all non-Muslims. This is absurd. And when I was in Washington, D.C., and I saw a bunch of these protesters, the same thing happened. They were given signs without knowing any meaning behind the signs. And if you're holding a sign, expect for people to come to you and ask what the sign means. The fact that he doesn't know is absurd and proves exactly my point. This movement is a joke. They don't even know why they're there.
Okay.
I don't actually know the definition of the word intifada.
Okay.
But, I mean...
Do any of you know the definition of the word intifada? Stop bombing Gaza, that makes sense. What about that one?
From the river to the sea.
Yeah. And what does that mean?
Well, it means to stop the Israeli occupation of Palestine.
From which river to which sea?
River Jordan.
From
Bank of the west bank of the River Jordan.
from the Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea, yeah. So does that mean that all of Israel should be, what is now Israel, should be Palestine, in your opinion?
No, I personally don't think that. I think
But the people behind you chanting with the signs and the flags saying globalize the Intifada, that's what they mean. So why are you at the protest? Why?
I'm definitely not the person to talk to about this, but I know that there's multiple strategies that people have come up with, like a two-state solution or one-state solution. I think ideally I would like to see one multi-faith state that is neither Israel nor Palestine.
This is a joke. Israel, of course, is a multi-faith country. And the proof for that is that you have Muslims who are able to go to Al-Aqsa Mosque and build mosques in whichever city they reside in. We have, of course, the Western Wall, which Jews are allowed to go to. Kind of sad, they're not even allowed to go to Temple Mount, which is the holiest site for the Jews. And same applies for the Christians. They're allowed to go to whichever church and build churches wherever they live, of course with specific permits. But this is the most multi-faith country in the region. You know where there isn't freedom of religion? Gaza. You know where else? Area A in Judea and Samaria. Jews are not allowed to go into specific areas in Judea and Samaria. Area A in particular, because there is going to be the risk they're going to be unalived and killed by the people living there.
Walking with this protest, there's definitely a much younger demographic here than the March Against Anti-Semitism, which we attended at the end of last year. That matches up well with the evidence which shows that young people are more likely to support Palestine than Israel in this country.
Look at the people there, guys. Look at the people there. One step inside Gaza, and bye-bye wa assalamu alaikum. That's what we say. They're going to be done in seconds. The Muslims don't even want them to support their cause. Muhammad Khadid, who posted a post supporting the Queers for Palestine, and the backlash was insane. Insane. So these people that are at the protest are going to be the first people to be killed by the same people they support. No, honey, you're not. You're not Palestinian. Give me a break. A few takeaways from this video, guys. First of all, most of these protests are built from people who have no idea about the conflict. They have no idea about the signs they're holding. They don't know anything about history in that particular region, which is very sad. When I was in Washington, D.C., debating people at protest, the exact same thing occurred. They're not familiar with terms. They have no idea about 1948 or what happened before 1948. They just chant random words that the leaders of the movement tell them to chant, and then it puts them in a very, very challenging situation where if they get faced with serious questions, they have no idea what to say. I was given this sign by somebody at the booth. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? And this exactly proves to you how much of a joke this movement is. And if you even remotely support the pro-Palestine movement, this should just give you some clarification about how uneducated the people on this side are. Open a book. Watch documentaries. Read conflicting sources so you can get some sort of an understanding about the topic instead of going to a protest blind. But this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so we can expand the audience. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye-bye.